Welcome to Remax, episode 43. It's
That
June
timing.
9, 2015. Well, we didn't hear much of what you said. Don't worry about it, my man. But yeah, welcome once again. This week, we have a returning guest who hasn't been on the show since 2014. It was in November. TLO, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks. I'm gonna try not to sneeze into people because I have allergies, so
Oh,
be prepared.
okay.
If I blow out your eardrums because you have headphones, I'm not gonna take blame for that. Be warned.
What have you been up to lately?
Mostly practice. You know, after WCS went pretty well last group, I've been trying to play more than usually even and prepare for Toronto. And
Nice.
yeah, it's gonna be nice. I'll be at Dreamhack Summer next week also, which will be nice. Even though it doesn't have StarCraft, but I'll be there.
Is there
What
like
do they have?
do we have a
Do they
BYOC
have
tournament
Hearthstone
or?
something?
No, I'm just going there for people, for reasons.
Oh, wow.
You make that sound so bad, by the way.
Oh.
Like, if you're gonna answer this next time in the future, just be like, oh, I got some business. I'm doing like a meeting or two there, instead of like, I'm gonna go there for some people stuff.
Yeah. Well, also Victor is there and Hotbit and everything, so I'm gonna have one chance to hang out with them. Yeah, but it's basically I'm gonna conduct some business.
Hey, you can't say it like that either, man. No, you can't go conduct some business. That doesn't work.
That's fine by me. You can think about what you want.
Are you excited to go back to Toronto since you were there last year?
I was not in Toronto.
You were not in Toronto
Well
last
informed,
year?
desRow.
Good
Really?
job,
Wow.
desRow, 10 out of 10, man.
Wow. I can't believe
Yeah.
Oh, my man. Are you excited? Is it your first time in
No.
Canada?
Yeah, it's my first time, and
Oh, wow.
I actually really want to go. Like, it's gonna be sick. I'm staying, well, because the time is always limited, but at least I'm staying one day extra, like, so, which is nice. So I definitely want to go see the Niagara Falls, and hopefully I can do that in the extra day. And people tell me Toronto is like New York, but nice, and I didn't like New York that much when I went there.
Yeah,
so
man.
hopefully Toronto's
That's New York.
live up to it.
Toronto, that's where it's at. I'm with you, man. I agree. I hated New York and I like Toronto, so we'll have
Okay,
fun.
good. Sorry, New Yorkans.
Yeah, Toronto is like the cleaner. It's the most American city of Canada, though. But it's still very nice.
Yeah. And still, despite.
Yeah. Hey, what about you, Morrow? What have you been up to, my man?
I've been pretty much just streaming,
Yeah?
trying to follow my schedule and all that. It's been going pretty good.
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't veto the potato name to pick mine. You know, it lost by 2 votes. You could have been like, fuck you guys, I'm picking desRow as my potato. But then you listened to the people. I thought we were friends.
I didn't want my potato to be called desRow.
Well,
What? What?
Why don't you get your own potato called desRow?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, we could do that.
desRow Junior.
Yeah, and then the fattest potato wins, right, Mo?
I don't know how it would work over at your place. I'm gonna eat the other potatoes anyway.
I'm gonna fucking boost my potato with like steroids or whatever. What about you, HuK? What have you been up to?
I just picture these 2 potatoes surrounded in a ring. You guys are like throwing money, betting on them. They each got like a knife attached to them, and they're like, you just kind of push them together slowly.
Yeah.
Nothing much. WCS just got announced. I've been streaming a lot. Been doing like, my normal schedule would be probably to stream like 4 hours of StarCraft 2, and then maybe 3 hours of Heroes, then maybe a 1 hour of CS:GO. Like the pleb I am, and then yeah, I don't know. Been streaming a lot. Been obviously finalizing the WCS Toronto announcement. I went suit shopping today.
Nice.
I'm gonna look off fancy and stuff. And
You're gonna have a second one now, or?
Well, no. Before I was just in dress shirts, so now I'm gonna have everything besides a tie, I guess.
Everything.
Are you renting it or buying it?
Renting. I'm a buyer. All right, we're gonna buy it for sure. That's that EG money, HuK. All right.
All right.
Right, TLO? Right? You see this? Right here.
This guy.
That's alright by me. Alright by me.
Morrow? Morrow, go. Morrow, it's your turn.
I actually have a shirt here.
Here we go. Here we go.
Fucking special class. Get the shit out of here.
I knew you were gonna go for it. I saw your tweet today, and I was like, he has one. I know he does.
Are you gonna get a Twitch shirt, Mo, with that design? I am sure you would sell very well.
Maybe not exactly like that, but I think that would sell actually. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Mo the sellout. All right.
I've looked into that.
Yeah, nice. All right, let's get into the topics, guys. This week, I cut down on the number of topics, but I made sure that the topics we're going to talk about, there's a lot of discussion. We're going to have call-ins in the second half of the show. Lycan, Fear Dragon, and the guys from Esports, Evan TV, are going to call in, talk to us about their weekly tournament. Also, make sure that if you have any questions about the show, something we missed, and you want us to talk about it, go to Reddit to ask questions. So let's get into it. The Real Scars of Korean Gaming. It was an article by the BBC. I don't know why they called it The Real Scar of Korean Gaming, because it's something that affects all of us. Obviously, they go a little bit more ham than we do.
Because it's like better show to have Flash with this fucking like long ass scar down his arm, where I don't think any foreigners have that.
Yeah, of course.
It's just a better title. Like, don't think too much about.
Yeah.
But also the piece was just about Korean.
It's way better sensational to just do it about.
It's all clickbait anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, desRow. You gotta be about the life, man.
Yes.
About that media.
Yeah, so BBC made an article about the ergonomics and the addiction to video games. It was a really interesting article. It's nice that StarCraft still gets some love 5 years later by the news. But what I wanted to talk about was something that I know TLO struggled a lot. I struggled with that a little bit in 2011. Carpal tunnel, RSI. So we're going to talk about the ergonomics and everything. So TLO, maybe some people are new, to the StarCraft scene and they don't know what you had to go through. So maybe tell us more about how that went for you.
Well, basically, right before I went to Korea in 2010, I started having a little bit of pain.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a little bit of a tingle in my hands and my wrists and my fingers, but I didn't really think about it much. But then when I went to Korea and I was playing like 10 hours a day and I didn't really get as much good sleep either because I was in a team house, that at the start we were like 6 people in like 2 rooms and just sleeping on the floor with mattresses and like very crowded, very hot, no AC. And then playing a lot and the pain became worse and worse. And well, the stupid kid I was back then, I didn't really take any countermeasures. So it became worse and worse until basically it became so bad I needed to go home from Korea. And then it became even worse. Like in 2011, it was so bad I basically needed to quit StarCraft for a while. For like a month I didn't play at all, and I started looking into options, how to improve it. And basically from 2010 to 2012 I had pain. And in in the end of 2011, it was so bad I couldn't really sleep anymore because I had constant pain from my fingertips up to my neck. But then, like by the start of 2012, I kind of got it under control. That the pain went down and down, and nowadays I'm pretty much fine again. But yeah, it was like a 2-year period, basically almost, of having like slight uncomfort to a lot of pain, depending on the day a lot.
What did you do to fix that?
Well, a lot of small things, a lot of details. First of all, for me it was really nice because I had a lot of people reach out to me. Having the presence online helps a lot. Like physiotherapists and different kinds of doctors messaged me and gave me tips what to do. And I also had some neighbors who are physios, so they told me what to do. And what I did is I fixed my posture because a lot of people have really bad posture while playing. So if you ever see photos of me at tournaments, you're going to see that I'm always sitting very straight, close to the table, my whole arms on the table. And then I needed to remind myself every 5 minutes to relax, because one of the main reasons why I got it is because I was very tense all the time, couldn't relax while playing. And when your muscles tense up, they become more vulnerable, obviously, to injury. So it became kind of this mantra every 5 minutes, like relax, check your posture, relax, and then after I did that for like a few weeks, it kind of becomes internal. Then you just check it subconsciously. That helped a lot. I started actually drinking a lot of water. Also helped me because when you're more hydrated, your joints and your tendons are better lubricated, and the better they're lubricated, also the less prone to injury they are. The less they're gonna rub together, and the less friction is gonna be there. And then I started swimming, which I still do pretty regularly, which is like probably the best sport you can do when you have RSI or carpal tunnel.
Really?
Because it's very low impact. You know, there's like no way you can make it worse because there's a lot of sport that can make it worse. Like let's say if you played, obviously, like if you play tennis, people get RSI from playing tennis. So obviously you want to avoid sports that are also, you know, giving you problems in that regard if you play it a lot. And swimming is the best because you literally can't damage yourself doing it. And at the same time, you're also in water, and cooling down your tendons and nerves has also a positive anti-inflammatory effect. So you kind of combine working out your whole body, which is nice because the more muscle you're going to have in your core and overall, the less strain you're going to have on your wrists as well, and the better your posture is going to become. And well, just a lot of things. Like I could talk about it for an hour in detail, but overall, just having a little bit of a healthier lifestyle in any regard helps. But I should really make a blog post about it eventually, because I think there's a lot of information that I could convey, but there's not really the time for here right now, I think.
Personally, for me, I had it as well. It was in 2011. I was sleeping a lot on my belly with my arms under my pillow. And then I would wake up like to a numb limb. And then when I would play, let me see if I'm showing this right on. I would play like the wrists would be like at the edge of the table. And I moved my mouse like that. And then eventually, like in the middle of a macro game, like I wouldn't be able to feel my hand. And I'd pause and I'd be like, my hand is numb, hold on, give me a minute. And then eventually like it'd go away a little bit and I could finish the game. And then eventually I just stopped doing that under my pillow, and I moved my wrists to the middle of the table, a little bit like you were saying, like you put your arms on the table instead of being at the edge of the table. And I've actually seen Koreans do that, and that's what I wanted to ask you, Chris and Mo. What kind of ergonomics do you guys have? Do you have the whole arm on the table? Do you have only the wrists? HuK, why don't you go first?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I haven't struggled too much with it, to be honest, especially compared to other people that have been playing the similar time that I have. The biggest thing is I always got it from, the worst was when I would go on a plane and I'd be really tired, and then I would like rest my head on my arm and I'd fall asleep like that, and that was like, and then it would like be messed up. Or if I fell asleep and I had like my arm like this, or like like this, if I like slept like this and I woke up, it would hurt all day. But other than that, I really haven't had issues. Main thing for me is I just like stretch like this on a regular basis, like a few times a day. As far as playing, I have decent posture. I don't think I have the best. I think one of the players that has really good posture, he kind of looks funny when he plays, but he does have good posture, is MC. MC's always like very like back, kind of like a little straight, out like off the chair a little bit, but like always sitting up and has his arms. For me, I have my arms not on the table. Almost like wrist level, I want to say. I'm like looking at it right now.
So like you're close to the edge with your wrists?
Yes.
I see.
Is that bad?
Well, that's how I had my problem with me. But I know you also use the hand stretcher or whatever, right? The squeezer?
Well, this isn't a hand stretcher. This doesn't help you like stretch tendons or anything. This is just like hand strength in general.
But it also helps actually having a little bit more muscle in your wrists, and that definitely.
I mean, I think for the most part,
it's not bad to do that.
Okay. I haven't had too much of an issue because I want to say because I've like played sports a lot, so I've been pretty healthy throughout my life, and I've like, I don't know, just it hasn't been an issue. I've always had a lot of stress on my body, so that extra stress from playing games doesn't really affect me that much.
I think I think it helps that compared to most pro gamers, you're a little bit more muscular. You're like not super skinny, and if you're more skinny,
What are you trying to say? TLO? What are you trying to say right now?
I'm saying that if you're too skinny and you don't have any muscles, you're more prone to injury.
I don't think you were watching his webcam. He was flexing for you. Fucking Morrow.
Yeah, but it's good. It helps. I'm proud of you, Chris.
Thank you.
Very nice guns.
What about you, Morrow? What about your wrists, your arm on the table, your ergonomics?
I basically never had problems, but I think I sit much higher than most people do. So basically, when I know a ton of Koreans, like when they play, they have their wrist like this, right? Because the table is like above them.
Yeah.
When I play, it's basically about this. Like I don't have my arms on my table, but
You're straight.
my hands are like never, fucked like
you know
that.
who's
So
actually really bad about that?
Who?
Ironically, Flash. Flash plays very close, but his arms are like this, and he's below the table, and he plays like this, and that's like the worst, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah,
he has had an injury also.
Yeah,
so I
that's
guess it
why
makes sense.
that's why I said ironically, dumb motherfucker. Do you think at some point for how
No, but
like
that's not ironic. Isn't that the opposite of ironic?
Isn't it just obvious?
I mean,
I'm kind of a Morrow there. Like, it's
Anyway.
not irony.
Oh!
anyways, it's
Ironic would be if like TLO had more injuries right now after doing everything. That's what ironic is. Alright? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Chris, go on.
No, he's done.
It's ironic because he went through this surgery and he never fixed his issue. He's still
No,
doing
that's just stupid. That's not ironic.
You don't think that's ironic?
I guess. I don't know. The definition of irony, nobody fucking knows what irony is.
Anyways, you would think that for like how professional and advanced Korean esports has been ahead of the West, they have these coaches, they have all this like they like go work out together and all this stuff. You would think someone would come up to them and be like, "Yo, man, really shouldn't play like that. It's kind of bad. Don't do that."
Well,
Yeah.
well, to be honest, Korean esport is always put on a pedestal when they have a lot of really, really bad methods. But because they are the best in the world, everybody's saying, the Korean method is the best. Then obviously, that doesn't need to be true. Like just because they are the best nation in gaming doesn't mean everything they're doing is right. They do a lot of things very wrong, and I think they're actually gonna fall behind in the future eventually, unless they're also gonna adopt more professional methods that are applied more in the West now, especially in like League of Legends and well, I guess League of Legends is probably best example there, but StarCraft and Dota is probably a little bit behind. I mean, StarCraft players are becoming smarter because they're becoming older, so I think they're doing more things right, but there's not this professional environment around of it because we don't have the money to have like a coach and manager and all that kind of stuff in the house.
But I agree with you saying that they're behind. Like, I don't know if you guys remember in 2013 or 14, there were those Pro League videos in the team houses, and it would be basically like an office. It'd be like cubicles. It'd be like a regular ass like office desk, and you would think like all the time they spend in there, they would have like adjustable heights of the desks and much better ergonomics. I know myself. Before I changed my desk was too high, or my chair was too high, and my shoulder would hurt from playing because I didn't have, like, it wasn't the wrist anymore, it was the shoulder. And ever since I adjusted my desk and I had better height on my chair, I lowered it a bit, so I'm like a good level. My shoulder doesn't hurt anymore. Also, the lower back pain sometimes, if you don't do enough exercise, if you don't do back exercises like weightlifting, I had a lot of pain. Now it's gone that I work out more. So those things are really important if you want to, if you have an office job and you're suffering, those are little tips you can try to add in. I know I went also to see a physical therapist, and she gave me exercise for my neck. I know Nani has been suffering from a shoulder injury, and he's gone to see one today as well. How would you say it affected your tournaments and practice quite a lot, TLO, that injury? Like, do you think you would have been the next Bonjour if that never happened?
I'm still going to be the next Bonjour, it's just going to be delayed.
I see. That's the attitude.
No, but
I feel like this is the year of Hearthstone thing. Every year is the year of Hearthstone until he retires?
Well, I'm still consistently improving, so I'm not worried. Like, I'm gonna make more prize money this year than ever before, and that's gonna be good. So I think from 2000, like, it definitely threw me back like 2 years, basically. When I was in Korea, I was really unfortunate because at that time, when I started going to Korea, I was consistently in the top 5 in ladder, and I was beating like almost everybody in practice all the time. Like, the Koreans had a lot of respect, and there were like few Koreans I was really scared of at the time. But then I also got chickenpox right before my GSL match, which didn't help either because I was basically taking antibiotics that just put me to sleep for 10 days. But yeah, I think it hurt a lot. But in hindsight, it's a good thing that, like, I prefer that it happened early in my career than later, when I still had the time to fix it properly.
Yeah, that's very true. What about you, HuK? Did you have any practice or performance issues with, you know, when you said you traveled and it like it was annoying in the plane? No.
No, I don't think, like, when hearing from what TLO says about his injury and like how much it affected him and how much pain he was in, I had like annoying pain sometimes. Even my fingertips a little bit, I feel like they're less sensitive than when I first started playing, if that makes sense. But overall, I don't think it's affected me too much. I don't know if you guys, it's kind of scary. Like when I touch my fingertips and it feels like, huh, there isn't as much feeling as there once was there.
Yeah.
Am I the only one?
Well, well, no, I definitely have the same issue. Like,
Okay.
I think I to some extent I also did some permanent nerve damage. Like, that is just irreversible. But that's why it's scary, right? You can do permanent damage with this, and then it's never going to be the same again. Like, no matter what you do. But you know, that's just a pro gamer life.
Yeah, I feel like when I was a kid, I got my finger pricked to draw blood, and I was like, oh, wow, that kind of stung. And now they did it, and I would just be like, did you do it yet?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, but maybe it just became a man, Chris.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that covers the real scars of pro gaming. Unless Morrow, you had something to add before we move on.
No.
No.
We don't talk enough about mental scars. There's also a lot of mental scars in programming. That's gonna be the next article on BBC.
Shell shock 10 years later, just fucking like you're sitting at like your office job trying to macro, and they're like, TLO, what the fuck are you doing? And you think, I got a macro, inject. You're like sleeping with your wife in the middle of the night. You just wake up, 4-gate, I saw it. Sweating.
Where's the fucking probe?
You're choking now. It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. All right. So next up we have. Oh crap! I didn't prepare. Okay. Legacy, the LOTUS Tournament, as many forfeits, which is really unfortunate. It was posted on Reddit last week. I picked it up, but it's something I want to discuss with the guys because you know, as a pro gamer, you know, you have to be professional. And that means if you're going to commit to a tournament or a league, pulling out halfway through is not really professional. So 3 players have forfeited their spot in the Legacy of the Void, Legacy of the Ultras League by Take TV. So MMA forfeited because of Pro League. It was clashing with Pro League, and he didn't see, he didn't think that would happen. Kiwikaki forfeited. I asked him, and he said it was too many matches, and he didn't have the time to practice for it. And the Muslim forfeited. I read on Reddit that it was because he was moving into a new place, and he wasn't going to be able to have internet. So you know, the only one that's like not really an excuse is Kiwikaki. I mean, like, you qualified for it, you should have like known and stuff. But even though, even still, the, you know, MMA and the Muslim, that's still pretty crappy of them. TLO, what's your thoughts on this? Have you ever had to do something similar in the past? You know, a league or something like that that you had to like stop playing? I don't know, maybe the German Cups.
Yeah, well, it happened to me, but it was never my fault. Like, basically, EPS had dropped out twice, but 2 times it was that they didn't announce when the final is gonna be. And one time it turned out it's gonna clash with MLG, and I had a contract with Sony Ericsson that was sponsoring me, that I have to be at every single MLG. And then EPS suddenly comes like 3 weeks before MLG happens, they're like, yo, by the way, the finals are at this date. And I'm like, yo, guys, I can't do it. And then everybody goes ballistic and it's like, oh, TLO's hating Germany. He's killing the local scene.
Oh.
What a douchebag. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And the second time they did something similar, that they just didn't announce the date for the finals again. And then it was via Dreamhack Winter or something. So, like, that's just unexcusable. Like, EPS was just very badly organized. And it's also one of the main reasons why I stopped playing in it, because it was always something that suddenly it conflicted with, like, some more important international tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, but, you know, I don't know. I find it a little bit overblown. You know, in Legacy of the Void, first of all, it's very unreliable, because a lot of times suddenly you have, like, insane lag. That's one of the reasons why I don't play Legacy tournaments either. And, you know, there's a lot more important commitments right now. And obviously, okay, you shouldn't agree to a tournament, you drop out in the end. But, you know, if that's Pro League, I would always prioritize Pro League as MMA too. And if there's some reason that is somewhat reasonable, I don't think it's a big deal that those players dropped out of the tournament. You should avoid it, but sometimes you just gotta.
What about you, Chris? What are your thoughts on this disaster?
I mean, I play in it, and I feel like I've had a pretty hectic schedule. I mean, I was in SoCal for like 2 or 3 weeks, still managed to play. I'm going to be casting. I still do a lot of other things. So I think it's unprofessional, but at the end of the day, esports in a lot of ways is unprofessional on all sides. So it's like a little bit expected. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't want to hate too much on DeMuslim, but kind of expected to there. I mean, he's a nice guy and everything, but he's definitely not the most consistent when it comes to things like that. In general, too, whenever you schedule something like schedule this, where it's play your own matches when you want to play them, and we're going to have a shitload of matches. We can cast it from replays. Like, that kind of league format is really, 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 really hard to do, because there's just so many games, and you're making the players basically talk to each other and schedule the matches themselves. And you got, you know, players from Europe, players from NA, players from Korea. Everybody's got different schedules. Everybody has different things they're doing and they're working on. You know, there's just going to be problems, and it's a lot of work for everybody. So I don't like the format so much, but I don't know. It's sucky, I guess. It's the suckiest for Take, I would assume.
Yeah, like if
that's one of the main reasons why I didn't sign up, because like everybody has to play everybody, and there's like 15 players or something. It's insane how many games they have to play. And like HuK says, when you also have to schedule the games with each other, that takes a lot of time, much more time than people actually realize. So it doesn't surprise me that people are coming right now and saying like, oh, well, this shit was apparently too hard. But yeah, I agree, it's a little bit unprofessional that they only realized that now, that it was going to be too time consuming. Whenever I sign up for tournaments and so on, I always try to make sure that, you know, I know what's going to happen and everything, and if I'm available and so on.
Should there be any repercussion or consequences, like you know, banning DeMuslim for like one home story cup or something like that, or that's too drastic? TLO?
No, I don't think so at all.
No?
No.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, the Muslim has been kind of a repeat offender in like forfeiting.
Yeah.
So I think there should be some repercussions when it's appropriate, but I don't think this is like one of the cases where it's really. I don't blame him so much for this, to be honest.
Well, I guess Steak is a little bit to blame for inviting him. Like, he knew what he was getting into, I guess.
I think they just have a good relationship. I mean, DeMuslim's always been someone that's been a regular at Take's house for many different things. He won a home story cup. I think he won the first home story cup, actually. So it's. I don't think the relationship's tarnished at all. And I think if Take had another event, he would probably still invite DeMuslim, and it would just probably be not this format.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't know. With the way the StarCraft scene is going, if I was Steak, I'd be so mad. But maybe he's a cooler dude than I am when it comes to handling that stuff. Next up, we have a talent lineup for WCS Toronto. My man. Actually, like, when I saw the tweet, I didn't see HuK at all, so I started being sad. I'm like, oh, he didn't make the cut. I feel bad for him. And then I saw his little face creep up in the bottom left corner of the tweet, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he made it. And so, yeah, good job on making it.
Are
now...
you high or something?
What?
How does my face come creeping up at the bottom left? Like, you looked at it, you didn't see it, and then I'm just like, desRow.
Yes.
Hi, desRow. And you're like, oh, there he is. Like, what?
Well, you're next to in control, so obviously you look little and you're like creeping up.
Are you saying I'm small or he's big or desRow?
My man. All right, so
I mean, he's pretty much just there.
Yeah,
It's pretty obvious.
all right, so Fenner is not coming back because that was the lineup. That was pretty much the same lineup except Fenner was in it for the last season. Maynard didn't get a shot. Rip the C scene. In Control is back. He hasn't been casting that many StarCraft event in a while. And then Pig and HuK to join the big leagues, along with Nathanius, Todd, Apollo, Kelleris, and Rotterdam. And Showbro is going to be the host. That's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Meeting the man, the legend himself in Toronto. But HuK, what do you think about In Control joining, like being back in the casting ring?
I think it's great. I mean, he's a solid caster. I think it'll be good for him too because he hasn't been doing events. I think it's like going to be more exciting for him. It always becomes a drain when you do something for too long and too often, but because he's been out of it, I think he'll be pretty excited. In general, like the people, like me being added, Pig being added, and then like other people not coming back, I think it's just Blizzard rotating stuff, you know, because they have this core set of people that are always showing up that are consistently doing it, and then they're going to rotate a few people in and out. Just because to keep it fresh, keep it new, see who actually has like good potential and stuff, because it's possible that some of us may cast at BlizzCon or not, I would assume, and they want to see like who would actually be able to do well and who wouldn't be able to do well. And I think they're just kind of like, you know, playing the field, you know? They're that promiscuous girl who's just like, yeah, let's see what's up. Yeah, but they don't want to commit to a relationship right now.
Yeah, but Fenner, he expressed in his blog that he didn't want to commit to another WCS because the stream is like a full-time job, and being on the road just for a weekend really hurts his numbers.
Yeah, and it's also a horrible flight, I'd assume, from
Australia.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I'm looking forward to it, and I think it'll be a nice event.
Oh, by the way, David Kim to be a special appearance for to be at Toronto. Some people are speculating that it could be the meaning of releasing the date of the release date. I kind of butchered that sentence of Legacy of the Void. TLO, would you be okay with Legacy of the Void being announced at WCS?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Like,
what kind of question is that? Like, he's gonna be like, I do not like this.
My man.
I am outraged. What the fuck? like he's just like, never. Never.
Listen.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on that. Like, that Legacy is gonna be announced at some point. It's gonna come out at some point. I really don't give a crap, like, in which way that's gonna happen. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense from your point of view. I think it's stupid if they announce it in Toronto, because you want like a big game convention. You want like the news to be talking about it, and WCS is gonna be like the only thing at that place. It's not gonna be like a gaming convention or anything. So, but the thing is, what?
I really don't think that matters at all. Like,
my man,
Blizzard is obviously gonna get enough press that the next game is coming out, and I don't think it matters if it's at the Gamescom or their own event. In the end, the press is gonna be online. It's not so much about the live media that is there. I think that matters, and they're still gonna have media there anyway. But I still don't think they're gonna have their big announcement there. I think David Kim is just gonna, like, he was there the last season too in France. I think he just wants to be there at WCS, and maybe they're gonna talk a little bit more about Legacy, like they did announcing the new unit last time. But you know, I think that's just gonna be it. He's gonna talk a little bit about Legacy and not more.
I don't know. There's E3 also coming up. They could have announced it there, but I think they're gonna keep Overwatch for the big leagues. the big stage. Last question.
Maybe they're gonna announce it at BlizzCon, because they will have BlizzCon before
You know it
Legacy comes out, right?
Well, you know it was leaked on GameStop that Legacy was going to come out November 15. That's like 4 days after BlizzCon, so they have to announce it soon. But which location they'll choose for that, we'll have to find out. There was a Reddit question that's related to this topic, so let's get into it right now. It's a little bit controversial, so hold on to your chairs if you don't want to, you know, rustle some people. Why is a guy like Kailaris woo it at most? Man, this question is really poorly said.
You want to link it?
Well, okay, you can read it for me, my man.
Oh.
Here it is.
Okay, for me, babe. Come on, babe. Why is a guy like Kailaris, who is at most mediocre at his job, still hired as a caster? He obviously doesn't follow the scene as much as you would expect an expert or a commentator would, and spends his time playing heroes. Would this ever happen in a real sport? It's a joke, in my opinion. Morrow, what are your thoughts on this comment?
I was hoping to hear Dario's opinion on this, since I'm
Dario.
always on the show.
All right.
Dario.
All right. Well, I don't agree that Kailaris is that bad. I mean, he's not the analyst, but he has like usually pretty good chemistry with his co-caster. Like, he's the kind of caster you can get set up with anybody, and it's gonna work. It's not gonna be awkward and function well. And I don't think he's mediocre. I mean, obviously he could, like, everybody could be better, but Kailaris is, in my opinion, doing a pretty good job, and that's probably the reason why they keep hiring him. You know, there's different people that have different tastes in casters, but in my opinion, Kailaris is doing just fine, and like what he's supposed to do. He's obviously not gonna tell you the, you know, major details of CVC, 13-minute, whatever, Roach flank baneling mathematics, but whatever.
Pythagorean theorem.
That's fine.
Etc. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna step in here, desRow, as the person that read the question out. I feel like I have that right.
All right, go on.
I agree with Dario, and the way I view Kailaris is that, yes, he's not an expert. Yes, he doesn't play the game that much. But if we're basing who we should pick as casters on how much they play the game, man, you fucked up, because the last 5 years have been a complete fucking joke, and it's been a lie. So, first of all, let's get that like right the fuck out there as someone that just got announced for WCS Toronto and possibly could be fired. But casters in general don't play this game that much. That's a lie. And like, not only that, like, I don't want to name names, but I'm sure you guys can think of fucking names yourself. It's just like, Kailaris is a good speaker. He has that British accent. He can speak. He can do play-by-play. You know, when something gets exciting, he's not so bad. He can say what is on the screen, what is being shown, which is a lot of what casting is, to be honest. And as far as the in-depth stuff, that's why they'll match him with someone like Pig, or like me, or like Fenner. You know, you take a really good speaker, someone that can control the flow of the game, do the play-by-play, you match them up with a pro who can do the deeper analysis, and then you'll, you know, have a really good balanced cast.
Yeah, I feel like those kind of comments are always coming from like very elitist people that are very narrow-minded. You have to keep in mind, like, he's really good at color commentary, and then, yeah, like you just said, that's why you and Pig are hired, because you guys know what you're talking about. And then they're the pretty faces and pretty voices, right? So it makes sense. Okay, next up we have Dreamhack uses strawpoll for Dreamhack Leipzig. I probably butched that, Dario. It's okay, you can be disappointed.
Very much.
But what do we think about Dreamhack using a straw poll like that? I mean, it's like obviously not gonna matter that much, right? It's like gonna come down to like what sponsors want to pay for, and so on. How big is the German scene for StarCraft, Dario?
Pretty big. I would say it's maybe the third biggest, I guess. Like, I think France is the biggest, well, in Europe at least. France is the biggest, Germany is the second biggest, Sweden the third biggest, I would suppose. And like the US is bigger, but it's also a lot more people. So it's definitely quite significant. There's always been a pretty strong local scene, and always been interest. And yeah, I think DreamHack Leipzig, if there's gonna be StarCraft, it's gonna be like really good because it used to basically Leipzig used to have Gamescom, and then was used to Cologne. So now Gamescom, like DreamHack, is kind of coming back to Leipzig, and they're seen as the heroes in Leipzig, and everybody is like welcoming them so much because everybody wants to have a gaming event again in Leipzig, and there's a pretty good local scene. So I think it's gonna be good if there's gonna be StarCraft.
And it seems like DreamHack always caters to the local scene. You know, when they did the DreamHack Friends, they had StarCraft.
What does DreamHack do?
They cater to the local scene.
Cater?
Like, yeah, cater. Okay, thank you, my man. But like they realized like StarCraft 2 is dead in Romania, so they like they got the fuck out of there with StarCraft, and now with DreamHack,
But
I guess
that's not so true.
no.
Like StarCraft in Romania actually went pretty well all the time. Like whenever there was a StarCraft event, it was full and there was a lot of fans. Like there's definitely more reasons or other reasons than StarCraft is dead in Romania. Like I always had the impression that in Romania StarCraft is running really well, but I think that's more of an overall thing that we don't have that much money for StarCraft because of the reality that the scene. There's some games that are bigger, and also DreamHack having more events that they want to cover more games, so they're not gonna have every game at every DreamHack. I don't think the reason is Romania doesn't have a big StarCraft scene anymore. I always had the opposite impression there.
Okay. That makes sense. What about you, Morrow? Are you gonna go? Excited to go to Germany? Maybe.
So it's like 2016.
Yes. You
I
gotta
can't
plan
really
ahead.
do German though. Like I don't know what 2016 Morrow wants to do, but
Is he gonna have
I
two
find it
potatoes?
kind of weird for them to do like a straw poll to see people's interest. Stuff like this is usually just to create hype.
Yeah.
Because you can't really get accurate numbers because it's gonna be all about like who posts the most shit on their subreddit about getting people to vote and so on. So, but at the same time, this shit is in like 2016, so I don't see why you would want to create hype for something that's so far away. So yeah, I honestly I don't see why they made a poll like this. It just seems like a cheap way to get us to fight with each other.
Yeah, I
What
agree.
game is bigger and so on.
Morrow, A+. Man.
So you feel like it divides
actually, I think the reason why they do it is
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it me?
No,
all
it's
the
not.
different games from each other because we're all one big esport family and love each other. I think that's bullshit. Like,
Oh,
no, but
you cut out.
I feel like they
couldn't
just
hear
want to
you.
gauge like the social media power. Oh, I'm cutting out.
Yeah, you like
Yeah.
when you freeze and then you come back, man, and it's like the fucking Exorcist. Your head
But
just
but
like
you think
goes-
you think we're you think we're never gonna be a big esports family? Is what you said?
I think it's gonna become more and more separate. Like
Oh.
you don't have that thing like in sport either. It's not like, oh, I'm a sports fan. Like, you know, I like all the sports. Like most people watch one or two games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And esport is just this big umbrella term. And you know, at this point, each individual game, in a lot of cases, is not so big that there's only one game at one event, right? You have DreamHack with several games, but eventually esport is gonna grow bigger and bigger, and then you're never gonna have those multi-gaming events anymore. I believe.
The way I view the future of esports continues to grow is that the way we have sports and they have, you know, tennis, football, basketball, soccer, etc. In esports, it's going to be by genre. So you're going to have RTS, FPS, MOBA, card game. I don't know, whatever the fuck becomes popular or dies. You know, like that's the only way I view it being relatable in any way. Because people that are playing, you know, like 12-year-old Jimmy who's playing StarCraft 2 now and he loves StarCraft 2, 8-10 years from now, there's going to be another RTS, and most of the skills that he grew up playing will transition over. The same for anybody that's playing CSGO now and really likes it as a young age. They're going to have an FPS to play in the future, or a MOBA, or whatever. So that's the way I view it, and I think there'll be like a lot of identity carrying over because the community members will carry over as well. But as far as like one big family, as TLO says, I generally agree.
Oh, that's kind of sad. All right. But yeah, that's cool. I think that covers. Do we go to the break now? Hold on. No, I wanna talk about one thing. It's not in a Google Doc. There's this new website. It's called lookingforgroup.gg. Now, on the surface, that doesn't sound StarCraft 2 related at all. It's not a plug. I don't know why I wrote it like a commercial, but basically this website is you guys, I'll put it in the doc or in the Skype group. Go on it. It's pretty cool. So what this doc is that if you're awkward and you don't like making friends because messaging someone after they lost is usually pretty BM, or after you won or lost or whatever, this site, you basically make an account and you put your character code, your Skype, and then you put looking for, and then you can say like, I'm looking for a Zerg, I'm looking for a Protoss, I'm looking for a Terran. And then it's just a site to help you find partners, whether you're from NA, EU, whether you're Bronze or GM, whether you're from C server, Chinese, Korean server, whether it's for the beta or Heart of the Swarm or Legacy beta. So I thought that's a really cool thing that popped up. I saw it this morning on Nathaniel's Twitter, and then I emailed the guy and I signed up as well. And I think it's really, really cool. I mean, obviously for us pros, we know our partners, we know the people on the ladder. We don't necessarily need this tool, although I'm gonna be using it. But I wanted your opinion, Chris. What do you think of this initiative by one of the member of the community?
I mean, I really don't know enough about it. Like, from face value, what you've said and what I see on the site, it seems okay.
I mean, like, let's say you were like a semi-pro, up-and-coming, like a little guy that wants to be like the next EG HuK and have everything literally. Would you use this? Would you be like motivated?
I think it's more of like it becoming a popular thing, you know? Like, I don't see this becoming the go-to method of people communicating. I mean, it would be nice if it was and it really worked out. I'm all for supporting something like this, but to get it out there and have it become the regular thing is a lot pretty hard, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's usually how it is with pretty much any website that you create. It's all about getting people to use it. But the website looks really nice. It's really, you know, clean and simple. So even I can just click around here, Protoss Grandmaster, and I find you, desRow.
Yeah, why?
So guys, it's desRow. Looking for CPT, High Master EU or higher. So it's super easy to use, and yeah, I like it a lot. But like Chris says, it's doubtful that something like this becomes like something that people use. But I mean, if I was like a scrub and I found it hard to find practice partners, I would definitely try something like this out. One problem I foresee is that you have like old accounts, people who don't really play, and then they just leave their shit up, so it can get really clogged.
Oh.
So they should probably add some inactivity
filter
thing.
Yeah, that sounds a really cool idea. Maybe the guy is listening and he's gonna adjust the website. I know he was in chat earlier. What about you, Dario? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I think one problem is that you just have all those names out there with all the character IDs, so people can just kind of troll and become annoying. I think it would be nicer if it's like somebody mentioned Tinder for StarCraft, but actually like that's not a bad idea. Like if everybody would have a profile and you could filter for league, and then you just do a short description or whatever your stats are, maybe just a screenshot of your current ladder statistics, and then you can say, okay, I want to play with this guy, or I don't want to play with this guy, and then if the other person also matches, I want to play with this guy, you get a notification. I mean, that's a little bit more advanced, because right now this website is basically just a list of names and character codes, right? So if it stays this, I don't think it's gonna come to anything, because it's just not really sexy, the website.
You think?
I don't really understand what you mean by trolling each other. Like, this is something that not pro gamers would use. Like, why would you go and troll like random people?
Well, you know, there's always trolls, right? And if they just see, okay, well, this guy has his character ID out there, I can just add him to my friends list and say, yo, I want to practice, or I message that guy because now I have his character ID. you know, I'm not sure if there's gonna come much real training out of it. I think it needs to have a little bit more functionality, the website.
Yeah, like what?
And that you.
Do you have a suggestion?
Well, as I said, like basically the Tinder concept, in my opinion, would be great.
Yeah, okay. Personally, I think StarCraft 2 is very lonely, and sometimes like finding a team or a clan or whatever, like even if it's like diamond people or low master people, can be a little bit like of a daunting experience. Like it can take time, and so on. So I think this to make friends, you know, practice partners. I think it's like a good starting point. You know, I think if you're because like especially for me, like I can message people, but with this, I know like the people on this site, they really want to practice, so it's a little bit more straightforward. You don't have to ask and stuff, or you don't have to ask people on Skype. I like it personally, and I'm not paid to say that, so I wanted to bring it on the show. Let's go to the break, and when we get back, we're gonna have a few call-ins from a few tournament organizers about the tournaments we have in the scene. Lycan, Fear Dragon, and the guys from Esports 7 TV. Thank you for watching the show, guys. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Stay tuned. All right.